Welcome, horse racing fans, to another edition of Keats Cash Plays, where we look for price play potentials to really spice up those exacta and try payouts and add to your bankroll on the big race day. I'm really excited for this week's episode of Keats Cash Plays. It's Pennsylvania Derby Day at Parx. A lot of huge connections have descended on Ben Salem, Pennsylvania. We got a co-featured card of the $1 million Cotillion Stakes, Grade 1, Torpedo Anna. It's a much hyped up filly here this year. And of course, the $1 million Pennsylvania Derby. So it's going to be an action packed card. A lot of big connections in town. But I didn't come alone. I wanted to bring my friends. We're actually going to be there on site. So we're going to be there Saturday at Parx. I brought my friends with me. You trust the profits. We got Riders Up Tim in the house. Sean Patrick Nolan, Spin Nation. How you doing today, gentlemen? And yeah, I'll start with you, Tim. Appreciate you guys tuning in and joining me on the show. And how are we feeling today, Tim? And I know we talked just off camera a little while ago. You got a lot of value play horses you're considering this weekend.
I do. I think we got some good racing coming up. 14 races at Parx. Obviously, the big ones you mentioned, but I think there are some interesting races on the card to where we can find lots of value. So I'm interested to see what you guys think and offer my thoughts for the weekend. But most importantly, I'm really excited about going there, heading there Friday and spending the day with you guys on Saturday, watching the races.
I'm really pumped up. Yeah, no, for sure. I can't wait to see you guys in person. I know we make a lot of this content, for the people here, and we love talking these horses, but always love, being at the track in person.
And, nothing better than it. Yep.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, me too. And Spin Nation, Sean Patrick Nolan in the house here. Thank you, my friend, for joining me. And I know we were at the Parx Derby last year. I know we got through the weather. Yeah. It was still an excellent card, but how are we feeling about Saturday?
Oh, we're excited. 11 stakes races out of 14. How can you beat it? We've got great friends there, great people, great jockeys, great trainers. Right?
Great weather.
I got my Torpedo Anna hat ready here to bring her home for the thing. So I'm ready. I'm pumped.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, the weather looks like it cleared up. A little bit of rain maybe on Friday, but I think that'll get out of town before, before we're there. All right, awesome. So yeah, we actually get together for this for Keats Cash Plays. So we have 4 value play horses that we feel can really run well, get in the money at a price. And we also feel that there's a lot of favorites on this card that you could say, hey, should this horse really be 9 to 5, something like that. So this is why we're trying to create that value. So hit the like button and subscribe to Trust the Profits. Appreciate all the support. Let's dive right into it. It's an action-packed card here at Parx.
Yes.
All right. So we got a cool logo for 2024. As I said, we got the Cotillion Stakes and the featured Penn Derby. We're going to be there live on site. So I'm really looking forward to this. And let's talk about these horses. So let's start out early. We actually got a lot of races to cover here. We got race 2 to start. So we're going to start with this bankroll builder. I know, Sean, you were eyeing a horse here, race 2. This is maiden special weight for fillies, 2-year-olds. So who are you liking in this race?
Okay, I love the 8 Hippie Shake from our friends Guadalupe Preciado and Zubio Ruiz, who just lost his bug. He's now a journeyman. Congratulations, Zubio, on a great thing. Hope much success as a journeyman. You look at this horse, and it's a very interesting thing to me is that he ran on July 22nd in a 4.5 furlong race. He got really sluggish out of the gate, just completely left out of the gate. And it seemed just like Paco was like, okay, we blew the thing, and it just didn't seem like he was running. He knew his race was up and just kind of glided him, but still passed some horses along the way, which I like. And then second started out 5.5 furlongs. Zubio gets on, had run against Patty's Gift, but it was on the inside. If you watch, he really closed well on the inside, and I was really impressed by that. And Guadalupe Preciado on the two off is 26%. He's 21% in the dirt. He's 20% in sprints. So he's a pretty solid all-around trainer. And on the third time out, he's going to 7 furlongs, which I think out of Matoli, this is going to be right up his alley, her alley, excuse me. And I think at 8-1, this is a great value here in race 2.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. No, I see this horse. This is why I love handicap with you guys, is because we just see things and we share these points on these horses. And yeah, I mean, you got the Matoli factor, and then this horse was the one post last time, so now draws the outside. I love that for the young horse here. So great pick there, Sean, and to get us early bankroll builder early here. It's going to be an action-packed day.
Yep.
All right, very good. So we got race 2 covered there. So that was the only pick that race, but me and Sean, we actually have dueling horses. We're going to be facing off here.
Dueling, yes.
And yeah, I mean, maybe I'll start with this one here. It's interesting as far as what I felt in this race. You got, as far as this, big field, and this is. As far as this, I was really trying to find some value here. I mean, we got it's the first stakes race of the day. It's the Alphabet Soup Handicap, and I really was looking at the number 5 horse here, Capo. This was the horse that kind of intrigued me. 8-1 morning line. It goes back to turf after facing a tough bunch on the dirt. I think this horse is better routing on the turf. This was the 100K jump start. It's a pretty strong race when I looked at it. And then cool angle here that I kind of came up with, and I looked at it today again, is that this horse doesn't have a jockey named on it, actually. So
yeah, right.
And there's no big, the big name jockeys named on horses in this race. It's more of a kind of like a hometown kind of race.
Yeah, which I like. Yep.
Me too. Yeah. But if I could attract the services of one of those top jockeys on this horse, hopefully that doesn't mean this horse is going to scratch, but I think that could be a live angle there, actually.
Yeah.
And then, last time this horse was 8.5 furlongs on the turf. I mean, he finished the game second, passing several rivals at 8-1. So I like the passing horses angle there on routing, and just hoping for the step up on the route. This field to me didn't look like it had a lot of, really, it wasn't as deep of a field as you would think for this kind of stakes race, I felt. So let's get this value with Capo, race 3. I know you wanted to talk about a horse too, Sean.
Sure. Yeah. I'm on the number 4, Drunken Sailor, for Michael Pino and Ruben Silvera. And this duo is 17% together. Michael Pino always solid on the turf at 16, 21 on the roots. And what I like about this horse is that you look, a lot of these horses have run and done pretty well in the stakes company. But this is, if you read the conditions, it says for registered Philadelphia breds, right? So you look at the 4. Now, the last time he ran at Monmouth, he ran against Irwin, Ready to Fly, and Devil's Harvest. Any one of those horses in this race would be like 3-5, 2-5, because they're open company, right? But you look at his first race at a mile 16th at Parx versus open optional, wins, goes to Penn in an open allowance, non-winners of 1, is right there and just misses. Then he goes to Monmouth. Yeah, he kind of quit, but look at the horses he was facing. This is the first time this horse is actually going up against his own Pennsylvania breds. He's 1-for-1 at Pennsylvania, and his 2 races were against much, much better. So while some of these guys have been knocking on the door a lot versus their own breed, this is the first time he's in versus them. So I think this at 12-1 with Pino and Silvera, I think there's a lot of value on this horse, especially with him being 1-for-1 in Parx.
Yeah, I mean, that's a angle there on that horse, and horse for course. I know it was one race, but that's something that could definitely spice up the money. I mean, you're going to get a price on that horse for sure.
Yeah, even like F35 is a very good horse that he ran in second to it at Penn. So he's got, that's a stakes horse. So he's running against very good company. So good value to be had.
Love it, love it. Thanks for sharing, Sean. And then I know Tim, we didn't forget about you. You have a horse in race 4. I know you were
Yeah.
interested in a horse. You were telling me you really liked this one. So which horse were you looking at in race 4?
I do. I was starting to wonder if you guys forgot I was on here too, but that's okay. No, look. So I looked at this race and you look at the 5 horse here beyond expectations and Michael Sanchez getting up for Bobby Reed. And this horse is probably going to be taking the majority of the money and is a likely favorite in here. And I get that and I understand it. The horse is a likely winner, but looking for value doesn't always mean we're looking for a winner. And when I look at the rest of these horses, I don't see any world beaters in here, but I do see a horse. You guys and I are going to be there on Saturday, and we are going to be reeling and dealing. So I look at the 2 horse reeling and dealing, and I'm like, okay, this is us. This has got us all written all over it. But look, this on the serious side, this horse, morning line 10-1, has some good works. But here's the thing. So the dam of this horse has had 2 first-time starters.
Yep.
One of those won at the 6 furlong distance. The other one, it won 3rd time out in a maiden special weight. But the first 2 races were really short, and the horse wanted more distance, wanted a mile. So broke the maiden at a mile after going really short. I think this horse, as a first-time starter with a dam that does pretty well, has both of her horses so far have done really well right off the bench. Service can get them ready. First timers, 18%. With his 2-year-olds, he does really well getting his 2-year-olds ready to run. I think this one, with looking at the rest of this field, has a real shot in here and could even be an upset pick. But I'm definitely playing this one underneath the 5 and probably box it a little bit and maybe play it on top just in case this horse is even better than I think it might be.
Love it. Love it.
Definitely great points there to create this value. Yeah.
Definitely take that in consideration, folks. Solid value.
No, I agree, Tim. And we've seen it, and Sean, we've seen it on the live streams too, so you guys crushing it recently. So it's something that, if you write about, conviction with this kind of horse and then this value underneath, that's huge. You're going to get paid.
Absolutely.
All right, Tim. And then we didn't forget about you again, because we're going to ask you about a horse coming up right now. It's, I think we're looking at race 6, right? I don't think we got anybody race 5, right? So yeah, race 6 here. Let's look.
Race 6. So they're going to, you've got a stakes race here to where registered Pennsylvania bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, going a mile 70 yards on the dirt. And you've got, this is another race pretty similar in how I approach this race. You've got a clear favorite in here, the number 6 horse, Morning Matcha. This horse is going to be an overwhelming favorite. You can see 2 to 5 morning line odd. It is not going to surprise me if the horse goes off at those odds. So once again, I'm looking for value underneath and who I can play underneath. And similarly in this field, I look at everybody and I'm like, okay, I've got the 3 horse I liked a little bit. Nature's Candy in that last race ran a good race and finished 3rd to Morning Matcha in that race. So that's a horse that I was looking at and considered. But I really started looking at this one, Pachelbel, and I just think that this is a horse that with any kind of slight move forward, is definitely a contender for the exacta in here. I just don't think anybody in here is going to beat Morning Matcha. But looking at the other horses, you've got horses here, Foxy Jr., the 2 horse. You've got a couple of others in here that are going to take money. But the 1 horse at a morning line of 15-1 is really interesting to me. This horse was claimed 3 back coming off the turf. And since being claimed was put in a 6.5 furlong race, did pretty well, closing up really well from being way back in that field, 7 lengths at the half. Then last time out at this distance, mile 70, this horse kind of woke up a little bit, had a good solid second in there. And I just think this horse is improving, went for improving speed figures here. You've got 3rd time off the claim. And this horse is one that I am going to have on my tickets underneath. I'm just going to straight up key Morning Matcha here on top, but I am definitely putting Pachelbel underneath.
Yeah. Solid play.
Definitely love it Uncle Mo prodigy too. So
Yeah,
definitely very cool.
and Smarty Jones, and who is bigger on
Yeah,
PR Day than the mighty Smarty Jones? You know.
Exactly.
right. Exactly. Very good. So great points by both of you there. And then yeah, we're gonna move along here with a big, huge stakes card. So let's look at this field here. I put this together. We got race
He's
number
smart.
9. This is for the Parx Dirt Mile Stakes. Big purse of 300,000. A very talented field here of a lot of hard knocking type horses that we've seen for the last several years. And gentlemen, I know that sometimes when we align together on horses, we could do big things. So let's start us off. Anybody want to start us off with their horse?
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. Yeah. I will be. I'm going with the 3 Injunction from my boy William Collins and Edgar Morales, who, by the way, is congratulations to Edgar. Is just getting married very soon. So congratulations to Edgar if he's watching. But this horse, if you look at this horse, man, it came in 5th in the Clark to Proxy, Willpower, and Folsom. Okay. Then you look down the way, he came in 2nd at Ellis to Saudi Crown. Does anyone remember Saudi Crown? Yeah, that was the winner of the Parx Derby last year, right? So this horse, although at times inconsistent, has really, since the break in May, 1st in the Schaefer Memorial at Indiana, 2nd in a great effort, both with Morales aboard. This horse is looking live 99 buyer Indiana. If this horse can run anywhere near that, I think this horse is at 6-1 is quite the bargain. I would have thought this horse would have been more like 5-2, 3-1. But I mean, and I just think this horse, when you look at the rest of the field, yes, they're good. They're not world beaters. This guy's been running against the best. And I think at 6-1, his class could really show versus this field.
Yeah, I mean, it's some great points. I was kind of very surprised with that morning line. That's way too high, I feel like. So great point there. Should have been more like even like you said, 5-2, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Well, here's the
yeah.
thing. So I'm also in this race and I'm on the same horse. And
Yeah.
let me just add a couple of points here.
Sure.
I thought the same thing, Keith, as I was looking at my value plays. I'm like, okay, there's no way Injunction goes off at 6-1. Then I started looking closer and I said, you know what? Injunction might go off at 8-1.
Yeah,
And
right. Yeah,
I love
right.
the horse at 6-1. And here's why I say that. Coastal Mission is going to be the favorite in here. And I get that. Coastal Mission's been running. If you look, the last 4 races are graded stakes, so a little bit better company. The horse hasn't run as well in those races, but when the horse is in just stakes like we find today, has done okay. But at this particular distance, I think the horse does a little bit better at a little bit shorter, more of a sprint. I'm not sure the horse likes the mile as much. Then, we've got a couple of other horses in here. Film Star, Linda Rice and Irad Ortiz. They're going to take money. Okay. They're lower and they're going to take money. Then you come inside and you got Adero. Adero is going to take money. Will probably be your second favorite if Irad and Linda Rice don't take a lot of money. But here's the other thing. I've been seeing stuff online all week, and I think Repo Rocks is going to be your wise guy horse.
Yeah.
Repo Rocks is a horse that a lot of people love and think is going to do really well. And again, is going to take a lot of money. And I just think that you've got enough early speed in here to where Injunction sits off of that, which is what I think the horse will do. Doesn't have to go gate to wire, has rated in that last race. It closed up pretty well there. And coming into the stretch was really wide. So the trip kept that horse. And same thing as Sean, I look and I'm like, okay, this horse just lost to Saudi Crown. And if you look at the stretch run after entering the stretch wide, this horse was closing on Saudi Crown and making up ground. Then that race had Ray's Cane, Mr. Wireless, Happy American, had a lot of good horses in there. And you've got a horse that was in that race, Silver Prospector, that was 36-1 and finished 8th in that race and came out and wins a really good allowance race next time out. So I think that is going to come back and end up being a really key race.
Absolutely.
And Junction coming out of that race to me is just really live. This is third off a layoff. I think everything is lining up for this. I absolutely love Injunction here. And here's the other thing that I haven't said. I don't like Coastal Mission to win. I'm fading Coastal Mission a little bit here. I get that this horse has been running Graded Stakes Company. The works look good and everything, but hasn't run over the Parx track. And I'm just wondering if this horse is going to take to this track. This is a horse that we all know ran a lot at church at Chucktown and started out at Laurel. So
right.
coming in here, I'm we'll see. Obviously fits here and fits very well, but I'm not as convinced with this favorite as a lot of the others. And I think that this horse has a really good shot in here. And I am pretty sure that we get 6-1, if not a little more.
Exciting. And when Tim and I are on the same horse, look out.
Right. This is just a cool, that's another angle there you got to watch out for sure. Awesome. So, I mean, I totally agree. I think it's a very talented group, but I think that 3 has a huge look. So, going to be a awesome race. Good. So, let's keep it moving here. We got a field here of the Turf Monster Stakes.
Yes.
Race 10. And I think I'm on the island alone here. I think I'm the only one that had a horse. I know we're picking about 4 horses total, but let's look. It's the grade 3 for the Turf Monster Stakes. I love this race. Now, I know that they took it off the turf last year, obviously, but this was a race that was interesting to me. I had a horse that I really kind of keyed in on and thought that was going to really run well here. And this is the number 5 Talented Man in this race. So in the Turf Monster. Now, this horse is back to turf and won at this distance last time at Pimlico versus a tough 40K allowance, optional, claiming non-winners of 2. That was an 11-horse field. I watched the replay. This horse ran very well. And Jockey Hernandez, I mean, he knows this horse really well. He's been on this horse only 2 starts. He was not on this horse's whole career. And with trainer Michael Moore, they hit as a combo. They hit 22%. And so let's look back at this favorite here. We got Super Quest that I'm going to look at here for you. Yep, the number 3. So this horse is going to take good money, I think. I mean, this is for Mark Cassie and Jose Ortiz, but just has never run at Parx. So I know you mentioned that, Tim, on the last horse. I think that, that's something that I'm just trying to create the value here. 2-1 morning line, pretty low there. So I think that horse is going to run well, but I like the 5. I think Talented Man. I think it's a good mid-pack draw. I like the spacing in between races. This is the 5th race of the year for this horse. So I like the spacing. Hasn't been over raced and did well at Pimlico. I really think that's going to be a strong angle there with that race in a huge field. So give me number 5 there, Talented Man, for more there at 12-1.
Yeah. 2 for 2 at Parx. Can't do better than that.
Right. Gotta love that. And then we're going to actually get to some of these more featured races. I mean, the Turf Monster, this is going to, blanket. It's going to be over 5 furlongs. So
by the way, just a quick for the people at home. Keith was dying to try to pick against Next, but we just said no. Next. Exactly. So we said Next. Exactly. Yeah. So just for the record here. Exactly.
Yeah. Then
he
I
was
sent
trying. He was trying. We said no.
Walk the plank. Yep. Exactly. I'm really looking forward to seeing that horse too. It's going to be a great race. Good. So we got Talented Man. So just quick thoughts. Cotillion Stakes. I know we didn't have a value pick in this race. Really unbelievable. We got Torpedo Anna coming to town. I think the spacing works out well, but before the Breeders' Cup gives her a little extra time. But Kenny McPeak is the trainer that always says that he likes to run his horses. That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, a lot of there was chatter online of give her rest till the Breeders' Cup, but he likes to run his horses. And did you guys have any thoughts on this field? Definitely, a lot of them kind of been facing off against each other.
Yeah, You want to go
I mean,
first, Tim?
she's clearly going to be the favorite, and a lot of people have talked about the Travers and her effort in there and how it probably took a lot out of her, and I don't doubt that. But you know what? Up until that point, she hadn't been asked to give a full effort. And I don't think it's going to take a full effort from her to win against this field. So she's clearly much the best. She's incredible. I do think that she is going to just run away from this field. But I did have a horse I kind of liked underneath in there, and that was the 8 Mystic Lake. I think Mystic Lake potentially has a little bit of value. That's one that I talked about the other night when we were online and mentioned to Sean. We got, Safi here. I like this horse a lot underneath, and, getting Mike and Smith riding and coming in for this race. And I think that this horse is one that if you look at the speed figures and everybody else in this race, it's probably, to me, even though the odds don't say that, I think the speed figures say it's Torpedo Anna, then Mystic Lake, and everybody else. So I like this horse a whole lot here. And if you get anywhere near 12-1, I'll be a straight exacta right there. Torpedo Anna and Mystic Lake, the 8.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually, let's see. Yep, I cashed on this horse. Remember, Mystic Late? I
Yes.
hit the exacta on that. I hit it. So this is, Mike Smith angle here with Safi. So I agree. That's a horse that would be at least considered for second. But it's going to be interesting. Torpedo Anna. It's big following, and I know Sean, you've been following her. The whole journey here. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I know we're excited. This is a added excitement for Saturday to see this talented of a filly.
Yes. Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
All right, so we got the featured Pennsylvania Derby. So we got here. So this is it. I mean, we got a very talented, huge field here. Got some local horses facing against these horses that shipped in. Some horses that we saw even run in the Kentucky Derby and Stronghold and Seize the Gray, the Preakness winner. So, and Dragoon Guard is a horse that seems on the rise. What were your initial thoughts, gentlemen? I'll start with you, Tim. Any initial thoughts on this field? I thought it was a good group they put together.
I do as well. I think it's a good group, and I'm really surprised. Look, Dragoon Guard is really good, but I'm surprised that they're putting this horse at 9-5 when you've got a horse like Seize the Gray, who is the only horse in this race who won one of the Triple Crown races and did well in the Pat Day Mile, and now comes in here. The horse has to be respected, and I just think that the odds, to me, the morning line odds are a little bit off. So it's difficult to really look at this and to me to go off of these morning line odds. We'll see how the public plays it. But I do think it's an interesting race. So before we talk a little bit more about it, I'll let Sean give his initial impressions.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very strong field. And obviously you have the rematch of the Indiana Derby, the first and second place finishers, Dragoon Guard and Stronghold, as the two favorites in the rematch. But that was Indiana, and this is Parx. So there's two different tracks. Seize the Gray, to me, obviously name-wise, is definitely the biggest name because he won the Preakness, right? The interesting thing is when I look at Seize the Gray, he runs 100 in the slop at the Preakness, but every other race just doesn't seem to come anywhere near to that number. You know what I'm saying? So was that just he loved the slop and it was the right day, right time, and great for Jamie Torres to get him out to the lead. Everyone thought he was going to come back except Jamie, and he just walked. You know what I'm saying? So major kudos to him. Unmatched Wisdom may have been just overmatched in the Travers. You know what I'm saying? He could be better maybe second time off. With Chad, you never know. Uncle Heavy started out the points thing in New York. Reed and Sanchez, but my value horse in this race is Protective. Okay, and I'm going to give a little story here. Illuminaire, who Ira Ortiz loves, is running at Churchill Downs. in the stakes down there. Okay, Irad loves this horse. Has ridden him twice. Okay, he is not riding him in Kentucky. He is here for the $1 million race. It's Rapoli, it's Pletcher, it's Irad. Last year, remember, he almost upset at 8-1 with his horse. He barely just missed. I got the huge exacta, which was great, right? Look at this horse. If you look at this horse, which is interesting, and who he's run against. Now, some of my favorites are going to be in here, but he loses to, if you look at the horses he's lost to, right? He wins at Saratoga. So finally the light bulb angle comes on. Now, granted, that wasn't a wonderful field that he faced, but now he's gotten the taste for victory. Okay. In second, he loses to It's a Miracle. If everyone remembers It's a Miracle, that's Tommy Morley's Wonder Horse that he lost to Illuminaire in the first race. 6 horses now from that race have come back to win after coming out of that race, right? Mm. So to no shame, he lost to It's a Miracle, who is the up-and-coming horse in New York right now. Then you go down the list. He lost to Dornoch. Okay, Sierra Leone. Okay, we'll throw that one out. He came in 6th. He was in the Belmont, but he didn't disgrace himself, and he was bumped at the start. Then you look at the Peter Pan. Lost to Antiquarian, who ran in the Belmont. Another good horse. This horse, and then he loses his first race, Valentine Candy. Runs against Morvino, Resilience. He's run against all great horses. And if Todd Pletcher is bringing this horse over for $1 million race, and Irad, who loves the Luminaire, is not going to Kentucky, he's staying in Parx, I think this horse is ultra live at 8-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's a great point there that Irad didn't go to Kentucky like that. So, yeah, I know we got to meet the man himself last year, Irad. Mm-hmm. So it could be interesting. I mean, I thought it was great points that you made there, Sean. So I think that horse is very live at 8-1 morning line. And I know me and Tim actually have a strong opinion on a horse, also another horse that could be presenting value. So want to tell us about that, Tim, to start?
Sure. So I'm going to go to another 8-1 horse, and I'm going to tell another Irad story. All right. So you got Unmatched Wisdom here, and Sean mentioned this horse. And look, this horse coming into the Travers was the least experienced horse in the race. Some serious step ups. Goes from a maiden special weight first time out which was a solid win. Jumps up to allowance class, 1 1/8. Solid win, then goes to a stakes race, another win, then goes to a grade 1. And it's just like, okay, that was a little bit too much, too fast. All right. But the thing about it was, Irad in that race, Pratt had ridden this horse the first 3 times out. And Irad in that race, I've watched that thing back multiple times on my pick on this horse and on this race in particular. And I just don't think he ever rode that horse the way that Pratt has been riding this horse previously. Obviously, this horse likes to be out front, did get bumped in the beginning, but I don't think it was significant. It says, if you look at the form, bumped at the start. It was a little bit of jostling, but that goes on almost every race, everywhere you go. But I do think that this horse is live to improve here. And here's the other thing. I look at the Time Form US, the pace projector, and they project a pretty hot pace in here between 2, 3, and 7. And I really think Seize the Gray, we all know Seize the Gray's got one way to win. That's on the front, going hard. And that's why Seize the Gray, to me, won the Preakness, is because they let him loose out there and he didn't get pressured and he had plenty left in the tank. But Dragoon Guard's not going to let that happen.
No.
Okay. And Dragoon Guard is going to go out with this horse. I think that Lonesome Boy's another one that's probably going to go out. And even Who's the King shows a lot of early speed, and from the outside probably only has one way to go in here, and that's going all out.
Absolutely.
And so if you look behind that speed, I think your next horse sitting is going to be Unmatched Wisdom. And that's exactly where the pace projector puts this horse and closing up well. So, and I don't think that all of those horses up front in the pace that they're going to have are going to hold on. As a matter of fact, I think they're going to push each other so much in a race like this that I think it's just going to set up perfectly for Unmatched Wisdom. Pratt is getting back on. You guys know this guy coming out of Saratoga, he just can't be beat. And he is riding as well as anybody in the country, anywhere he goes. This is the right guy for this horse. I love this horse to improve. And I'm going to take Unmatched Wisdom to win this race. I really think this horse, and if that happens, to me, if Dragoon Guard or Unmatched Wisdom come out of this race as the winner, either one of them is going to have one loss on the record and all wins, and is probably going to end up in the Classic and make things even more interesting than they already are. And I just think Unmatched Wisdom is that horse in here. Chad Brown and Flavien Prat, we all know the Saratoga meet they had. It was incredible, record setting, whatever you want to call it. It was amazing. Sure. They're going to bring a little bit of that down to Parx on Saturday, and we're going to be there to see it.
Yep. Tim, did you have Unmatched Wisdom in the Travers?
I did like him underneath in the Travers. Yeah. I did like him. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Irad probably knew that. So that's probably okay. So that's an even stronger angle for Flavien now. Right. Exactly.
Well, hopefully in the winner's circle
with Irad. How many times has Irad beaten me? How many times have I played him?
Hopefully you'll be, get cash in this weekend. And it's interesting because we didn't reveal our picks, everybody, before the show. We just did it basically right before the show. Is that I am also on number 8, Unmatched Wisdom. I think that it's a lot, Tim, a lot of great points there. Now I looked up the status. Trainer Chad Brown. He's 1 for 11 at Parx, but you just touched on it, Tim. I mean, it's such a hot meet with, especially with the jockey Pratt aboard at Saratoga. I like the recent workouts a lot. I think that, we got the 4 furlong and then you got the 5 furlong. I think those are good times there. This horse is working well. Just total throwout race, that last race at the Travers. So I see upside going back to 9 furlongs. So it was just, like you said, Tim, it was a grade 1. Little, the waters were a little too high there. And then now we're, undefeated at this distance, versatile type. So I was talking about, you actually were talking about the pace. I was looking for a horse that could be like the second flight, kind of mid-pack. I think Stronghold actually might get a decent trip too. Just depends how wide he's going to be. But Unmatched Wisdom, I think this is the horse for me, lightly raced actually. So the most lightly raced horse in the entire field. So 4 starts. And I'm just hoping for the move forward with the hot jockey, like you mentioned. So I like Protective a lot too there, Sean. So maybe I have to put a big exacta together. I mean, that would really cash out.
Things fall apart. It could definitely happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Love it, gentlemen. I'm really looking forward to that. And let's see. We got the Get Out race. I know that I actually have one more horse here to share with you.
Sure.
And you got to love this racing card because a lot of the racing cards, they end maybe with an allowance or some kind of, like a claimer, but we got a stakes race to end the card here. This is the Parx Sprint and a big field. No, we were just talking about Irad and a few of these connections. So a lot of horses here. And let's take a look at my horse here. A little sneak peek there is number 5 Recruiter. So this was a horse I was liking a lot here in the nightcap. So 6-1 morning line. So I had one race and a good second at this distance. It was the favorite the last 2 times. Now I know those fields were probably a little lighter compared to this field, but now we're getting 6-1 on this horse. I like the workout a lot at Delaware on Recruiter. 4 furlongs there, 3 out of 27. Looks ready to, fire a big one. This horse, last 2 times I mentioned was the favorite, but now is been in the money 10 out of 13. And Rodriguez and Lynch, I mean, they've done, I know it's a small sample size, but they're really hitting well. 38%, this jockey trainer combo. Yep. So we always say the Get Out race, the nightcap. So that's a horse I'll definitely consider at the end.
Yeah, definite value for sure. Very solid pick.
Awesome, gentlemen. So we got I just do a little quick graphic here of my plays. We got Capo, I was mentioning, 8-1, like that with the routing on the turf. Then Talented Man, same angle actually there. Hopefully, you could get a nice trip there mid pack. And then we got Unmatched Wisdom. We just touched on. I think that's going to be, the hot jockey with value. And then I just mentioned Recruiter and the Nightcap. I think this horse is for live connections. Is going to run well. And we'll talk about your picks here, gentlemen. You can start us off here, Sean.
Yeah, race 2, hippie shake.
Little glitch in the matrix.
Looks like Sean was doing a little hippie shake himself here, but yeah, I mean, as I said, hippie shake for race 2. He was on Drunken Sailor. You guys were both on Injunction, and then we talked about Protective and Unmatched Wisdom there. So very cool. And then I know, Tim, we were talking off camera. I know you had another horse here, but yeah, Reeling and Dealing. And then I know originally you were looking at this other horse, Nature's Candy, but you like the one horse in race 6.
I do. I like that horse. I just don't know that horse can hold on in the race. So again, in race 6, I was actually on the 1 Paschal Bell, but the 6 Nature's Candy is one that I talked about as well. But everybody better jump on that Injunction in race 9 there. If Sean and I are on the same horse, I'm betting it.
Oh, exactly.
Let's go.
Hammer it.
All right, awesome, guys. So it was a lot to cover there. I mean, I think it's a great card here that the Parx office put together. Weather looks great. Looking forward to see you guys in person.
Yes,
and
if you're in the area, come down and say hello.
Probably be the cocktail lounge, but yeah, let's cash it. Any final thoughts before the huge stakes day on Saturday?
Great card. Yep,
let's go.
I'm excited. Let's go.
Are we there yet?
Right, exactly. No, I know. Is it Saturday yet? Exactly. So appreciate you guys. Riders Up, Tim and Sean Patrick Nolan here.
Yeah.
Give these guys a follow. They're really sharp handicappers and do their work. And here at Trust the Profits, give this video a like and subscribe to Trust the Profits. It's a huge week of racing, Penn Derby. And then before you know it, I mean, we're, weeks and weeks coming up soon for the Breeders' Cup. So it's going to be fabulous. Yep. It just doesn't stop, right? Gotta love the horse racing. And give this video a like. We're hitting over 32% right now with horses getting in the money currently, as you see here scrolling on the bottom. So appreciate all the support. And this is Keats Cash Plays episode 27. Just keep cashing and keep it moving. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great rest of your day.
See you guys.